Good evening, Gossip Talk Shows family. It's Nomsa here at Gossip Talk Shows. Find your own voice, lead from within. So it's me again. I'm still wearing the same clothes, guys. I've been so busy today. I've been on this computer almost all day and spending time with my family as well. So I'm back, day 23, Confidence Booster Challenge with Mathew Hussey. And just join me, and it's been a really very interesting journey, boosting my confidence, and it's been helping me with my personal growth and my happiness as well. So those who have been following me and walking with me through this path, has been I've been identifying my strength and my weaknesses, and focusing on them as well, and practicing self-talk, and challenging my negative thoughts. And I've been surrounding myself with positive people, and I've been setting up goals, and I've been celebrating my success. I've been taking care of my physically and mentally health. And how have I been doing that? I do exercises 5 days a week, and it's been a really amazing time. And I've been looking at things that are holding me back when it comes to life, because when you work on your confidence, you will start realizing you kill your ego first. And when you kill your ego, you come to a place where you are not like thinking you're better than anybody else. You're not judging yourself, but you just want change in your life. And so I've been creating a plan and tracking my progress, and also I've been working on developing myself to earn more money for my children, to actually help my children. And I made a decision that I needed to move house again. Some of you know that I've been living in this house for 6 months. So I did say that, guys, I'm going to be honest with my journey, because if I need you guys to connect with me, I'm going to have to be honest with my personal journey. Some of you know that I moved this house last year, June, and coming from homeless, becoming homeless. I wasn't like homeless. I was living with my father-in-law. So we were living with my father-in-law, because when we wanted to exchange, somebody changed their mind within last minute. So the people that wanted to move into our house, they wanted to move in, and we needed to get out. So I was like, you know what? Everything is packed. We packed everything, cleaned the house, we're ready, because we thought we were moving out. This was the exchange day, and everything, but we let down last minute. So I was like to everyone, you know what, we need to go and live with my father-in-law and let people move into this house and just go, because he's gonna create a mess to both the people and me. I don't like mess. And so we ended up living with my father-in-law, but he ended up with the 1 week ended up being 7 months or 6 months. But I'm glad that moment, because when we left, I'm glad that my children got to stay with their grandfather, because that 7 months we were together. When we left, as soon as we left, after 1 week, he had a stroke, and he was in a hospital for a few weeks, and then he came out. And then in October, he went back to the hospital. He's still in hospital today. It's been 7 months. So since we left his home, so sometimes things happen for a reason. At the time, I didn't see it, but at the time, I didn't know. I didn't realize it, but now I look back and my children had a good relationship with him. They got to spend time with him. He got to spoil them. He got to spend time with his grandchildren. So that is what I'm grateful of. But for me at the moment, some of you have been following the story, you know that I was actually at university writing my final exams. When I was writing my final exams, it required me to do some research. It required me to actually do everything. And my children's granddad, because we're living in his house, he's like 66, 67 now, and he didn't have internet. And when I asked him if I can put internet and pay for it, he was like, no, because when you leave, I'm gonna have to. I was like, no, I'll pay for it. I'll continue paying for it even if I leave. So he didn't want it. And if somebody says no, you have to accept that. So I accepted it. So I ended up having internet, like going to the library, the office. You can't do the work really in the office. So I was like working. Sometimes the library, they close at 8 in the evening. So I'll go and do the work there. And also I did something silly. I packed all my laptop. We had about 4 laptops and I packed them and took them to the storage. So after I've done that, I was like, I am not buying any laptop. So we had another 2 laptops in the bag. And when we got to my father-in-law, some reason these laptops were new and they couldn't work. So I was like, you know what? I'm not buying any laptop. I actually did my research on my phone and going to the library, doing my final exams, having to do all this. But at the time, my confidence didn't go away because I knew that I was facing challenges in my life and I had to work. When I went to work in the morning, I go in the morning, I work. And then after 12, I come home, I work from home because I have to be closer to my kids to pick the children from school. My youngest one, I can't pick my older one because she is at school, secondary school. She finished school later and she has to work with friends. So is the decisions that I've made with my children, even with my older one, I pick my children. If I really, really hire somebody to go and pick my children up, if I'm not there, a family member has to go and pick them up. That's the decision that I've made, to be there for my children. That's why I work for myself, so that I can actually pick the kids from school. And so I work in the office, and then after 12 or half 12, I work from home. And then at 3, I pick my daughter from school. It's like closer, a few minutes away. So that has been my journey until today. And that has been my journey. So when we moved the house, we lived in a house where everyone was comfortable. It was during lockdown. Some of you know that it was during lockdown as well. And everyone was comfortable. But then when I made a decision and said to everybody, we need to go and live with my father-in-law, I didn't realize that my children were going to be affected because they're used to their own big home. And when we moved, we had to downsize. But everyone is miserable. When I mean everyone is miserable, it's just me who is not miserable. These children, they are not used to seeing everybody. They are used to going to their own, disappearing in the house and going to their own places and living wherever they want. So now they don't have that. So I'm realizing that I took a voice of my children. But at the time, it felt right. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to, if I don't have to actually be in that situation myself, I like to remove myself to a situation where I don't want stress. Their dad was getting stressed. So I don't want to put anybody under pressure because it was lockdown. And the lockdown, the business money, it wasn't coming in as it was. There was too much money going out, but not a lot of money coming in because my work involved me meeting my clients face to face. So things changed. So you guys know the story, how lockdown affected the whole thing. So it was up to me to actually act and said, yes, we need to downsize. I acted that moment, but now I'm doing the confidence challenge. I'm realizing that I took the voice of my children and now things are back to normal. I need to give them that voice back by finding a new home for them. So I have registered to this agency online. Now I've registered, I think it's been 2 weeks now. So I'm trying to log in now, is logging me out. It won't allow me to log in. So apparently there's something that I need to do to clear the system and the list. They've sent me the list, what I need to do so I can choose the house. When I'm looking for something, I like to deal with one person, one agent that they can actually help me. So that's where I am with the house. And then what else am I trying to do? What else am I doing? I'm trying to move my daughter from school as well. Now, my other daughter goes to a private school, and my youngest one goes to a state school. The other one went to a state school. The school where they went is a very, very good state school. So my oldest daughter went to a state school and then moved to private in year 4. So I'm doing the same thing. This one is she's going to year 4. Now she has to go to where her sister went. Things have been going smooth, and I've seen I know the place, I know the people. Now her dad needs to go and agree, see the place and agree. Now the appointment, he had an appointment. He was meant to agree to the appointment. So he's a man. He read the email halfway, was meant to reply and say, yes, I will make it. He just read and saw the appointment. So they give you appointment and then you have to say yes, whether you're going to attend. So he read half. He took the day off. And when he was going, he realized actually he was meant to say yes, and then so they can keep that appointment. So it was given to somebody else. So that's where I am. But it is part of the journey, part of life. When things will not go according to plan, how I planned. That's how life is, and that's how things are going at the moment. I'm keeping my cool. Even when he told me that he actually, the appointment, he read the email halfway, I kept my cool. And I was like, yeah, it's going to be sorted out. So this is where I am now. I'm making changes because sometimes we have this fear where we try to protect ourselves. So I took the voice away from my children, thinking, because of fear, thinking that I'm not going to be able to afford giving them this home. But now I'm realizing that they're not used to the home that they are living. So they need to get a bigger place that they want. So that's what I'm doing for them. And getting my other daughter to change school as well and going to where she can have a good education as well. So I've left it that way. And that's that. And the other thing that I need to do is work on my confidence when it comes to making decisions. Sometimes oh no, I need to do some research. I need to do some research. I need to do some research. I was meant to do some research today, so I didn't do it. And I need to do some research based on my course. I am still studying, and I love Nkosi Talk Show one day to become a university, and I'm required, for me to do that, I'm required to have certain qualifications. But I'm not scared of studying and getting those qualifications. Before I was like, it's gonna really, really take a long time for me to be who I want to become. But now I'm going with the flow. I'm studying. There were times where things I get busy, but I can juggle things, running my business, 2 children, and having to do other things. So I do all those things, but the good thing about working on your confidence is you don't have to worry about anything. You worry about your personal growth. You worry about you create a system, framework that will work for you, and then you build better relationship. I'm building better relationship with my mom, and my mom's relationship has always been okay. It's always been beautiful, and I love my parents. I don't want to lie to you. When you see me with my mom, I love my parents. I love my dad, and but when my stepdaddy died, my stepdad played a big part in my life, and he comes from a very, very wealthy family. Some of people, they know my stepdad's family. I'm not gonna say his name. They know my family. My stepdad's family are well known. If you go to the country where I come from, you say their name, they know who they are because of who they were at that time. So very, very wealthy people. He played a big, big part in my family. He gave me a good foundation in my life. When I started traveling, he basically put an investment away for me to actually travel with freedom so I can live the life that I want. I wanted to travel, and I told him what are my dreams, what I wanted to do. And when I left home, he got me a ticket. And when he got me a ticket, he put the money away. When I arrived, he was like, I had my shoes. I think there's a photo of me wearing my clothes in Africa, somebody wearing white shoes. So those shoes, I came with them, and he opened those shoes and put something under the shoes. And when I arrived, and he said to open the shoes, and I was like, "What do you mean open the shoes? The shoes are just shoes." And he was like, "You're gonna have to rip the shoes apart." And I was like, "But this is my favorite shoes. How am I ripping my shoes apart?" So when I ripped my shoes, I realized actually I was rich. Yeah, he had gone to the shoe shop and put an investment and put everything, my startup money, and they put the card they put the card, they opened the shoe, and the heel with the glue, they put it, and then they put that. So I didn't know what I had. And when I arrived, and he said, "You know what? This is life. You said you wanted to start afresh, you wanted to travel." So he opened that shoes. When I opened it, I realized I was a very, very rich person. And that gave me a start for me to start my own life. And that's why I am here today. When he died, I thought I needed to maintain that life, my mother's lifestyle, because of my stepdad, the children. So I took over and looked after my family. But then in my relationship with my mom, it became more like a responsibilities. Like I felt that I was responsible, not love. We've always been very close, but now I'm putting those responsibilities on the side. So we are focusing on us, talking about us, how she is, and talk like we used to be. So that's why we've gone back to where we used to be, and building a loving and caring relationship, opening the floodgate of love like we used to do. So I'm no longer feeling that I'm responsible for her. She is responsible for herself, and God is responsible for her. I'm always gonna be there to be there for my mom, but she loves me. And I've realized during this challenge that my relationship it needs to go back to where before my stepdad died, before my daddy died. It needs to go back to where it was, because now I feel the responsibilities. So I'm no longer responsible for mom. She's my mom. She's responsible for me. So I'm no longer doing that. And I'm allowed to be a baby to my mom because she carried me for 9 months. Some people back home, I know my family don't say it, but they think I'm baby, but I'm not. When I go home, basically I hold my mom with my hands. Like I will hold my spouse. That's what I do with my mom because I love her so much. My dad as well, he was the same with my dad. My stepdad was my best friend. And my dad, my best friend, my step parents. So that's how I lived my life. So now my relationship is back. That's where I am with my relationship with my mom. And I don't know what the future holds with everything, but I'm practicing listening, empathy, communication clearly, with honesty, when it comes to the things that I want, and I respect people's boundaries, and I respect our differences, the people around me, and I show appreciation to people and gratitude, and I'm investing time and energy to build and maintaining my relationships with my family, and boosting your confidence is good if you are prepared to actually recognize your strength and your weaknesses. So I'm working on both sides, and I'm working on this power of God as well. You guys, you've heard me mentioning that I'm no longer manifesting for my business to go forward, to make money. I'm no longer manifesting for my relationship to be better. I'm no longer manifesting for anything. I have decided 3 weeks ago when I started this challenge that I need to manifest for the man himself, because I need God in my life. I'm no longer manifesting for good health. I'm no longer manifesting for anything. I'm just manifesting for God. I'm just praying to God to connect with me. So if God connects with me, He knows my destiny. I don't have to ask for it. So that's what I have decided. I was like, I've been doing things wrong. So now I need Him. If I manifest for Him, it means when I connect with Him, of course, if I pray for the power of God to connect with me, there's going to be more energy that is going to challenge my life. But I'm ready for that. I know how Lucifer works. Some of you guys, you've seen my video where I've connected Lucifer, actually, I connected with Lucifer where things got messy. So that is real. I'm not going to lie to you. That is real. That was 2016, and that is real. So I know how God works. I know how Lucifer works. So I'm in a point where I was like, why am I manifesting for my things to be better? I need to manifest for the man himself to connect with me. Because if I do manifest for God to connect with me, that means I'm going to walk with my own original destiny. Are things going to be easy? No, they are not going to be easy. There's going to be loads and loads of challenges. Because when I fasted for 40 days, that's when I that's when I opened the door to actually connect with God properly. And Lucifer was like in front of me and said, no. That means my ancestors, that is part of my ancestors where they were serving maybe other gods, and I belonged to those gods. But then here's me saying, I want to connect with God. So the challenges were really, really messy because he confronted me and said, no. But then I said, why? And he said, follow me. I'll give you everything you have ever wanted. And I said, get lost. You can't give me everything. Satan comes to steal, to kill, and destroy. How can you promise to give me everything? So we had a battle. But thank God, because I was fasting for 40 days, thank God that God was there. So I didn't survive because I was better than anybody else. I survived because I acknowledge my sin, my sins, And I acknowledged my ancestors' sins and my ancestors' sins. And when I was speaking in a place of crying to God and surrendering my life and saying, I have wronged you. I understand I've wronged you. I understand my parents have wronged you. This is real, by the way. Those who don't believe in God, who believe in some hoochie, this is real. So I was like, I wronged you. But right now, I need you to have mercy on me. This is who I choose. And that's how I survived. I survived because there were so many pastors who were involved asking for my mercy. And that's how I survived. And if we went, those people that he chose to put their lives on the line to help me to be where I am, to help me to be alive, I will not be here today. So this is not a joke. Maybe at the end of the challenge, I will have the courage to talk about it. That's why I said before, I'm not sure to tell the whole story, what happened. I'm not sure. But I had an encounter with the man himself. So it's not a nice thing. It's not a nice thing when God is in there. Let me check. I've got my information here. So third heaven is the highest heaven, is where God, the throne of grace, that's where God is. Second heaven is where Lucifer is, where they store everything. But I was on earth here, but I could see that he had pulled me. I was in the second heaven. He made me realize that I was in the two places. But if I had given up, I would have gone. But because God kept fighting, and it was up to me now to fight for myself, and him release me, but him letting me go, it didn't mean that that was the end of it. The fight, the battle went on and on and on, but I'm grateful that I had the pastors that put their trust in me to fight the battles, and they were helping me. And maybe I'll talk about it by the end of my 30 days. I still haven't decided, but God exists. For those who worship God, if you do worship him with all your heart, because he does exist and Lucifer does exist. So those who are like, when you talk about God, they're like, I don't believe in God. It means you belong to somebody between these two. So that was my encounter, my first encounter with the devil. And he promised me the world. I've had people saying I've joined somebody, I've joined a cult, I've joined this. I thought it is a joke, but it's not a joke. They do exist. So that moment, that's when I realized that my ancestors belonged to somebody. They didn't belong to God. So I asked for mercy, and I was given that mercy that I asked for. And I asked for my ancestors to be released. I was given that opportunity to have my family back. But it doesn't mean that the living, they can decide their own path. But I took what belongs to me. And it wasn't easy. It was a big fight. So that's why it's part of it that my confidence that got destroyed inside from my core, because I worked on myself. So that was part of it. But the good thing is I still pray to God, and I still know my path that I need to take. So live with grace, everyone, and God bless. And I promise I'll make a decision what I need to do. If I needed to tell you guys my story, how my story began, if I don't want to talk about it, if I feel that I'm just gonna pray about it. If God says, no, sir, you can tell the story, I will tell you the story. It's very, very scary, very, very interesting. I don't know how I survived anyway. So if I can survive him, that part, because he's a God, that means I can survive anything. And that's when I'm realizing now that if I can survive Lucifer, that means I don't have to fear. I can survive anything. I can build my own business and move forward. So no, I'm not going to say that. So yeah. So I tell you guys, live with grace and God bless. I'll see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. UK time. I think tomorrow I'm with Carol Ann, and I don't know the topic yet. So I'm just waiting for her to give me the topic. So it's going to be me and her. I think so. Oh, she's given me the topic. Okay, we're talking about forgiveness tomorrow and obstacles, which is great. Yeah, she's given me, yeah, how to overcome that. So that's our topic. If anyone wants to hear about forgiveness, please do come and talk about forgiveness, and follow me with my journey with this. Is 23 days today, and remember, on my last day, I might be able to talk about, reveal some things. I might not. So just stay tuned, just follow me. I just tell you this story, guys, for everybody to actually to connect with me properly, so you can understand who I am as a person. And I'm not here to fake my identity. I'm not here to fake my image or anything. I'm just a normal person who has problems like everybody else. I'm not better than anybody else. The only thing is that I'm able to surrender and admit that I need to work on something, and I go for it. God bless.